What's going on, guys? I am fat and bloated and blubbery and hairy, 45, aches and pains, my knee hurts. I just got done. I hit an Arby's real hard. I felt bad because I was a little rough on my dog, so I gave them half my curly fries. Now they're taking a big fat nap. So they're happy. I notice people, when they're coming in the gun shop looking for a gun, they have a real hard time making decisions on what kind of gun they want, and which is normal. But some of the reasons I hear or I see why they won't buy a gun is just pretty ridiculous. It's silly, and it ain't because they're stupid. It's because they're not educated. Not that I'm educated, but I got a little handle on this a little bit. I see a lot of people, they're coming in and they're gonna take the firearms class and safety class and all that, which is great. And they want to buy a gun and all, and they get hung up on stupid things. The things they get hung up on are really not necessary. You got to think about what you're buying, why you're buying it. Like I say, some people don't like to spend a lot of money. Some people are $100 away from a great gun and $100 away from a shitty gun. If a gun is $400 and it's a piece of crap, or you heard it's a piece of crap, why wouldn't you just put another $100 out and get a Glock or an XD or an FN, some high quality firearm? You're $100 away from it. Why would you get a cheap gun? So that's something you run into a lot. Another thing is they get hung up on how the gun feels in their hand. They really get hung up on that. That's a big one. And a gun's not going to feel perfect in your hand. Let me adjust that. A gun is not going to feel perfect in your hand. Take Glocks, for instance. These are the least comfortable gun for me to hold in my hand. Why do I own 4 of them? I own 4 of them because even though they're not the most comfortable gun that I own, I can shoot them well. They're very reliable. They're very affordable. And they're one of the most reliable guns you can get. So the comfort situation, I see a lot of people pick up the Glock and they're like, I just don't like the way it feels, it doesn't feel like that. This is how, safe gun. If you want to know how a gun feels in your hand, you don't do this. You go like this. You go like this, get a nice firm shooting grip, and push out, then say, now how does the gun feel in your hand? Pretty much, once you have it like that, it pretty much feels like every other gun you put in your hand, for me, okay? When I'm holding it like this, it does have a unique feel to it. When I hold a 1911, it does have a unique feel to it, and it has a completely different feel than the Glock. But that's not how I'm going to be using it. I'm not going to be holding it like this if I have to use it. I'm not going to be holding it like this if I'm going to be practicing at the range. I'm going to be holding it like this. How does it feel now? Well, it feels about the same as the Glock. Once I got 2 hands on it and I got a nice firm grip on there, and there's my shooting grip, it feels pretty much the same as any other gun I hold in my hand. But when you're going like this and going like this, they do feel different. But don't get hung up on that. That's not too important, okay? So I just wanted to cover that. Not every gun's going to feel perfect in your hand. For instance, I have an HK, and it fits in my hand like a glove. I mean, it's probably the most comfortable gun that I have, and I shoot better with a Glock, and the Glock feels awkward in my hand. But for some reason, once I get it where I want it, where I'm supposed to hold it, I don't notice how it feels in my hand. Right now, I'm concentrating on my target, and I'm concentrating on my trigger control. All that stuff about how comfortable it is in your hand goes out the window if you ever have to use your gun, especially, most importantly, in a self-defense situation. Do you think you're going to care, or do you think it's going to matter if the gun feels balanced in your hand? You know, I know another guy buys a lot of guns, and I handed him my pistol and said, "Well, how do you like it?" He's going like this with it. No, I don't like it. It ain't balanced. Are you freaking kidding me, dude? No. That don't mean shit. Or you'll get this. Oh, I don't like Glocks. They're top heavy. I don't like the polymer guns because they're top heavy. Well, guess what? It's not top heavy now. It's not top heavy at all. The gun is not top heavy. If you're going to sit here and hold it like this, I guess it's top heavy. But that makes no sense to me. Okay? It feels wonderful. Once you got both hands on it, or your shooting stance, your shooting grip, a Glock feels wonderful. Okay? Some guns do feel wonderful. Just picking them up with one hand and looking at it and holding it in your hand like, man, this fits like a glove. Man, this fits awesome. But as soon as you go to shoot and concentrate on your target, you ain't gonna notice any of that shit. All you're concentrating on is your front sight and that bullseye, and hopefully you get your whole group in that red ring. So the bottom line is, what I'm trying to explain is, don't get all hung up on how great a gun feels in your hand. Take the Glock 26. A lot of people complain about when you hold a Glock 26, their pinky hangs off there. Well, when you're gripping a gun, the most important fingers that you're gripping a gun with is your thumb and these two fingers. This is where all the pressure is. You're going to forget about that pinky when you're shooting. Okay? What you do is, because I don't have a 26 right now, I used to, I got to get one, two-tone, is you just curl your pinky under the magazine plate. You'll just forget about it. I've seen so many people come in and go, I want a Glock, but I want one I can carry. You know, and I'll say, well, how about a Glock 26 or a Glock 27? And they'll hold it and go, well, my pinky's hanging off. I'm like, dude, you're not going to be worrying about your pinky hanging off if you have to use your gun. Because your primary grip is these two fingers and your thumb. This is your primary grip. Don't worry about your pinky. And I swear that stops them from buying the gun, is because their pinky's hanging off. Do you know how many Glock 26 and 27s are sold? Them guns are hot, and they're sold to professional, you know, tactical experts, guys that have hands that are bigger than mine. It all comes to how you know how to grip a gun. Like I said, the bottom line is, when you do find that gun that feels perfect in your hand, don't think you're going to be shooting like, you know, don't think you're going to be shooting real accurate and splitting hairs with it, because it just doesn't work that way. You actually have to shoot guns, go to the range, rent them, shoot them, and find out which one you shoot the best. If they don't have one that you want to rent, I don't know what to tell you. But if I was looking for a gun and I found a gun, and I don't pay attention to really how good it feels in my hand. A little bit I do. I mean, it's somewhat got to feel pretty good. I'm interested in how I'm pointing it, how the sights are catching my eye, my dominant eye, and right then there you'll start to feel good if hey, I might be able to shoot this gun pretty good, you know, because I have my grip on it and I'm looking at the sights and it feels really good. It's very natural feeling. You go by that. You don't go by this or holding it like this and saying, oh, it's top heavy and my pinky's hanging off. And remember, small guns, they're not built for comfort. They're built for concealment. So when you buy a gun that's extremely, you know, specifically made to conceal and it's real little, it's not going to be comfortable in your hand. But like I said, when you're shooting it, I showed you the three primary fingers that grip the gun. It's not an issue, it really isn't. So if you're looking at a Glock 26 or a Glock 27 and your pinky's hanging off the bottom, don't let that stop you from buying it. That is not going to be an issue. I've already been down that road when I first got into Glocks, and when I first started getting into subcompacts, I'm like, man, my pinky's hanging off the end. But it didn't affect my shooting at all. I shot them just as accurate as a full-size Glock at 10 yards. It's not an issue. They're small because you don't want them to print when you're carrying under your shirt or in the waistband. That's why they're made that way. If Glock thought that size would affect your shooting, I don't know. I don't think they would have came out with it, or any gun company. You can shoot a mouse gun just as accurate as a big gun if you know the basic fundamentals, how to grip and pull a trigger. So, I'm just trying to rule out the equation for you, so when you're going gun shopping, you won't be as hard on yourself with comfort, and you'll be able to cut through a lot of the shit and make it easier for you to pick out a gun. This way, you really don't have to worry about that. Really, you don't. I'm a firm believer in that. That's why I made the video. And I see it every day at the shop. I mean, I just constantly see it. You know, I just don't feel right in my hand. It's like, you know, it's not even going to be an issue. Okay. I have so many different style guns. I have the 1911. I have the Glock. You know, the HK, and I shoot them all accurately. They're all different kinds of frames. They're all different kinds of styles. They're all different kinds of sizes, and I still shoot them all accurate because of the basic fundamentals on how to grip and fire a gun. So I hope this helps you. If you find a gun that doesn't really feel quite right in your hand, don't worry about it. That should not stop you from buying it. What should stop you from buying a gun is a brand that has a horrible reputation, and you know, if the price is really cheap and it's one of those brands that people badmouth a lot, or you hear a lot of bad things about it, I wouldn't get it. I mean, there's a reason why certain brands get a bad rap. It's because they failed. So you go with good reputation: Smith & Wesson, Glock, Springfield, Colt, Kimber, whatever. Put the money out, get a good quality gun, and like I said, don't sweat the small stuff and get hung up on comfort and all that stuff. Alright guys, I'll talk to you soon, and we got to get that Beretta to the range.